I grew up in Little, Rhode Island. Bodybuilding wasn't too popular there. It wasn't really a big thing. Hot summers, cold winters, there was a lot of blue-collar workers there. And this is where I set on my journey to be a little bit different, to be a bodybuilder. My first introduction to the gym was I got suspended from high school one day. So my older cousin came to my house early that morning. I'm not sure why he was out of school, but he wound up there in the morning and made me go downstairs in the basement and work out with him for the whole day. So, you know, it wasn't really a punishment at that point. I started to like it. So we were down in the basement. We had like an easy curl bar, a flat bench, incline bench, leg extension, leg curl. We had pretty much everything you needed. Chin up bar. We had a mirror we hung up down there. We had the bicep blaster, the weeder posters on the wall with all the workouts. And, you know, I was down there all the time now working out. And, you know, at that point I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I didn't really know what that meant, but I was in the basement and, you know, I was pretty much trucking along doing my workouts off the weeder posters. And it wasn't long before I started to outgrow the basement and I needed to find a gym. Like a fuck you for Christmas, this gift is a curse. Forget the earth, it's got the earth. So eventually, after getting to Gold's Gym, I was watching the bodybuilders in the gym doing their things, and there was competitive bodybuilders in the gym. I mean, there was a lot of these big guys walking around. I was just trying to kind of find my way around and do what they did, and I saw a bodybuilding competition poster on the wall. It said, "See Al for details." So now I figured I'll go find this guy Al. So I find Al. Al's a 6 foot, maybe 5'10" to 6 feet, 230 pound, really lean, bald dude. It looks like the guy in the Gold's Gym t-shirt. He looks like the guy that's on the poster of the thing. So I go up to him at 17 years old and I say, "Are you Al?" He says, "Yeah." He's just real short. "Yeah." I said, "I want to be a bodybuilder. My name's Jerry." He looks at me and goes, "Okay." So I followed him in the office and he, you know, made a diet for me and stuff. And I followed his lead for, it was a very short period of time before I actually did the competition. And I think he actually wanted to see if I had the cojones to actually go through and compete at 17 years old because there wasn't many competitors competing. So I did. I went through with it. And at that point, I think he knew, I knew, I was going to be a bodybuilder. This is a picture of Al Thurston, training one of the many people he trained throughout the years. And this is my routine from the Northeastern Natural. 17 years old. I weighed about 137, 138 pounds, somewhere around there. Man, did I look like crap. You can see very clearly that I have narrow shoulders. My waist was small. I didn't have much muscle to begin with, and my conditioning wasn't that great. But still, for some reason I moved like I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I was on stage like I wanted to be a bodybuilder, and I'd spent that time preparing like I wanted to be a bodybuilder. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I wasn't sure what it was going to take. I knew it was going to be really hard to reach the next level, but wasn't really sure what to do. So as usual, I turned to Al for guidance, and he pointed me on the way. So as the rest of my high school friends partied and hung out and did what they did, I spent my time in the gym, drinking my weight gainer shakes, and trying to get some rest in order for my body to grow so I could be better for the following year. I was pretty focused for a 17-year-old.
I probably did it subliminally for you, so I could come back a brand new me. You helped see me through, and don't even realize what you did. Believe me, I've been through the ring, I've been taken too little to the middle.
So I did that first competition under Al's guidance, and I didn't do too well. I mean, I looked like crap in space facts. I didn't really know what I was getting myself involved in, and I was still in high school. So when my high school classmates found out what I was doing, I started to get ridiculed. Here I am, 135 pounds, trying to be a bodybuilder like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I got told over and over again, you'll never be a bodybuilder. You're not cut out for it. You're too small, you don't have the frame. I mean, I can tell you over and over again how not one person, except for Al and the guys at the gym, outside of that crew were supportive at all. I mean, my parents were like, hey, okay, be a bodybuilder. I mean, they never dissuaded me from doing anything I wanted to do. But everyone else around me was like, you'll never be a bodybuilder. And I had this one specific instance with Jill Mendoza. And Jill, if you see this, I saw her at a gas station, the Shell station in Warren, Rhode Island. And I got out and had my big T. Michael sweatshirt on because I was a bodybuilder now. I competed and stuff. And she says, what are you wearing? I said, this is my T. Michael bodybuilding sweatshirt. I'm a bodybuilder. She looked at me and she goes, you don't have the frame to be a bodybuilder. You're not going to be a bodybuilder. That was it. I mean, I did reps in the gym saying Jill's name, like Jill, like I'm going to be a bodybuilder. Like her words kind of just topped off the cake of the people around me that would tell me I wasn't going to do it and I wasn't going to be a bodybuilder. And within that year's time from that competition, that the first one Al helped me with, following his guide and my good friend Eddie DePina, who actually wound up helping me at the time too, the following year I went from being that guy who was placing at the bottom of the pack to being a top 2 in the state, qualifying for nationals as a teenager, and showing up that year top 2, top 3 at all the shows that I went and did it.
That following year, I stepped on stage at 153 pounds. It was evident that I had put on muscle size, my shape had changed, and my muscularity was a lot better. I now went from the bottom of the pack to be an actual good competitive bodybuilder in the teenage division in Rhode Island. I'd also spent some time that year learning how to pose the right way. This is the way you can show you the way your physique looks the best on stage. It's important to learn how to pose, or you just can't see your best physique. That year I was awarded my first Best Posing Award. They only give out one per class, and it is basically given to the person who displays their physique the best way. All in all, that competitive year, which was my second year competing, was very successful. I made the changes that I needed to, and I was going into my final year as a teenager at 19 years old in Rhode Island. As it turns out, I actually lost this competition. I wound up getting second place at the Gold's Classic in 1993 in Somerset, Mass. But it was okay. I actually lost to my training partner, Donnie Souza. We had been training together already for about 1.5 years or 2 years, and then we started to compete against each other also. So if you're going to lose, you might as well lose to someone that you know. Someone that you know is good. As the years went by, I went from that 137-pound kid to 153 pounds the next year. And I continued. I continued to get bigger. I continued to get better. And I continued to do the sport that I love, that I was always told I would never do. Throughout the years, I went from competing as a lightweight to a middleweight, a light heavyweight, a heavyweight, and finally a super heavyweight. This is one of my competitions where I came in as a light heavyweight, qualified for nationals by getting second place. My body weight was 196 pounds here. This look on stage to date, I feel, is one of my best looks. As a light heavyweight, I could display strength, size, muscularity, thinness of my skin, but still maintain my shape that I lose when I get heavier. Leading into this competition, I was trained and dieted by my very good friend, IFBB pro and bodybuilding legend, Kevin Levrone. Kevin was always about not just size, but he felt he should also have a complete package all the time. In this life I'm many things. I'm a son, a brother, a boyfriend, a friend, a cousin, now an uncle. But at my heart, if you strip all that away, I'm always going to be a bodybuilder.